You guys have been busy. Announced minutes ago an unbelievable, a bomb, an explosion in MLS, a trade that brings you the veteran, a guy with a heart and soul, Dax McCarty. Talk about it, Veljko.
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, obviously it's a great day for us. We've been working for bringing Dax to our team, to our club since early in 2016, where we saw that we need a player with his leadership, with his qualities on and off the field. And it's, as I said, it's a great day for us because it was tough. We had to give up on so many things during the last season because we were working, to create the assets so we can bring the player like him. And today is a great day for us. We believe that we brought the right guy for our locker room, a great leader, a great player who obviously can fit in different formations and different playing with different players. And we have what we didn't have before. We have important depth in our midfield, and for sure a guy, a champion that can help our team to be successful in the next season.
Veljko, it left a sour taste in your mouth, I believe, and also in the general manager, Nelson Rodriguez's mouth after last season. You knew what you needed to do in the offseason. I remember that last game against TFC here, sitting in there. You didn't want to talk about what needed to change and what moves you were going to make. All you did was you showed class. You gave respect to TFC the way they played and their supporters, and you said, wait and watch. We will do what we need to do. You have made a statement this offseason in the draft and in adding key players. Let's talk about Nikolic. Let's talk about Jorginho. You guys mean business this year and starting to get the respect back. What changed in your mind and the GM, Nelson Rodriguez, to say enough is enough, we need to get the respect back of the fans?
Well, listen, nothing actually changed. We were aware when we took over the team last year, and we were aware of what we have to improve, where we have to work. But it wasn't easy, because you have to work on creating assets, creating the right things in order to get the right players. You have to work a lot on your scouting, and it's a holistic plan that you cannot just do everything in 1 year. And after the first season, we learned a lot. We learned what we have to improve, like you said. What are the weaknesses of our team? But most of everything, I think we needed men in our locker room, men on the field, guys who can help all the youngsters that we have on our team, very talented and with a lot of future for sure, but they need somebody to look at, some models proven models that they can follow until they become and take over that role, which is always, like we always said, every successful soccer project needs time. And we believe that we have that, and we had last year a plan. We're just executing. For us, the draft was very important, but also during the last season, we created a lot of assets, as I said before, so we can bring Nikolic, top striker in Europe, proven goal scorer, a leader, and a hell of a player on the field, hell of a winner. We could create assets in the draft to bring Dax with us. We had assets from the last year to bring Juninho, and we have overall a very good position now. We are in a very good spot, and we still have to build our roster and improve some, bring some pieces also so we can have even more depth, especially in defense, and then do a couple of retouches on other positions, and I think that then we will be ready to compete and work. Obviously, the preseason is ahead of us. It's very important to prepare well, but right now, I think we will just execute it. And as I said before, draft was very important. We had our plan, and actually, this is the second draft where our plan and how we executed with the master brain, Nelson, of all that, I think was very important in order to create assets and then deal with the situation that we have to deal in order to bring Dax in this case.
Veljko, I believe this is a massive day, a massive move for your club. for Chicago to now start thinking about not just the regular season, but making the playoffs. Dax brings an identity, a quality, as you said, on and off the pitch, a grit, a heart and soul. You've addressed that. But you also talked there about addressing some other positional needs and some help. I'm thinking of right back for you. Are you happy with Matt Polster? Because I believe he needs to get to the next level, and he can do that. Or are you thinking of maybe playing Kappelhoff at right back or bringing in another acquisition to help solidify that right back?
Well, we see Matt Polster as a player who can play different roles. Last year, he played most of his games, and there were a lot of games that he played in a role of the midfielder. The guy who was leading our attacking creativity, attacking plays in order to bring the balls to our forward. And he did well. I agree with you that we have to improve on the right back. We have to do, as I said, retouches there. But we also have options there. Michael Harrington is there. Johan Kappelhoff, who played last year a lot of games, especially in the end of the season, and he did well in that role. And we see, and we are working on different targets right now in off-season where we can give opportunities to young players, but also we are looking for somebody to fulfill that role with more experience and who can perform right away. So I agree with that. We have to improve that position, but obviously we also know that we have in our team guys who can play very well that role.
Veljko, let's talk about the draft. An important day again for Chicago. I tell you, to me, I think you got the steal of the draft, and that is Guillermo Delgado. I watched the combine, I watched all the games, and I kept on watching this young man. And time after time, he was impressing me. He was opening up in areas that other players weren't opening up in, scoring some good goals, speed, sharp. I think this is going to be a steal for you. Daniel Johnson in the midfield, your top pick, I believe will help you out. A surprise with goalkeeper Stefan Cleveland, but I'm impressed with Delgado. Talk about these young men.
Well, obviously with all difficulties that young players have in the combine because they don't know each other and they're under huge pressure, we think in these three players we could actually see how they play under the pressure in that kind of circumstances. Delgado, obviously, I know him from my days in Spain. He's the former coach, Cosmin Contra, Romanian international player, and a coach in Getafe, where he played at that time in a young team, in a youth team. I know him from that time, and he was always a promising player. He did well in the combine, but he also had a very good season. Not only this season, he scored a lot of goals this year and the last year. So we followed the player, we interviewed the player, which is very important for us in our process of bringing the players, and say for everyone who's coming abroad, in this case, like Nikolic and other players, we interview our players because it's very important for us to know who we are bringing in our locker room, not only as a player, but as a person.
Oh.
He did very well in that interview, same as Daniel and same as Stefan. So we see in all of them, but as you wanted to talk, you wanted me to talk precisely about Delgado, we see a future. We see guys who can develop, who we have to develop, who we have to give the right environment and right tools so they can be important players for our future, for our club. Delgado obviously is a guy who brings different culture, different style of play, coming from Spain, which I admire and obviously like a lot because I played there for a long time and I have experience and I know what I can expect, both what he can give now and how much we can develop him. So it's very important to have a quality guy who can also influence other players and bring the different culture of play and different culture of approaching every training and taking care of his body and compete, ultimately compete, because that's what it's all about. In the professional level, it's about competing, it's about winning and being successful. So now going to Daniel, Daniel was very, very good in he had a very good combine actually. In the first game, I think he was one of the best players on his team, and I was very surprised with his talent, with his interpretation of the game, understanding. And then in the interview, he also did very well. We followed him. We know that in the first 2 years of his college career, he didn't have a great years, but he was aware of that. He told us that he knew what he had to improve. He was aware that he has to have a different approach to the game and to his career. And then in the last 2 years, he did very well. And obviously, as I said, very important part of our decisions is the interview, and his answers were perfect. Nelson actually used a very, very good definition for him. He is a soccer junkie. He loves so much the game. He talks about the game so passionately that you just cannot but fall in love with the kid. He was very good, but we also know that, and it's the same as him, we know that it's still a long way to go for him and for Stefan and for Guillermo. And now I'm going to talk about Stefan. I liked a lot his game. I like to say about the goalkeepers that I want to see a player on the goal, not just a defender, not just the goalkeeper who cares only about stopping the ball, but somebody who will understand the game, who can control the pace of the game, who can dictate actually the speed of the game, and then make right decisions. Also very important, the communication that he has with the defensive line and the rest of the team's lines. Very good in his understanding, defending the depth, which is in my case, how I understand the game, very important for a goalkeeper in this league where you have a lot of fast players, a lot of transitions in the game. You have to be always focused and ready to defend the depth. So I think he has all these qualities. He obviously has to work with us, with our coaching staff, in order to improve even more, get sharper, improve his understanding of the game, decision making, and overall his power, his strength, and his power. So we see future in all three of them, and we still have draft tomorrow. So I'm not saying anything, but it's just that we might acquire more talented players in that draft, depending how it goes. But we are very open to our future. We also know that we have to fix the present, and this is what we, coming back to a point where we started talking about Dax, this is what we did today, and we did that in off-season with other acquisitions that we had on the international market.
Coach, let me ask you a couple other things before we let you go. We know you're a busy guy. We really appreciate your time. But let me ask you this, Coach. In your first season, what did you learn as a young coach in this league that you personally want to improve on in the second year?
I actually learned a lot, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity because I think, and I know that I have to prove that, but I think I learned so much that I'm already, I'm getting a better coach and a better person. Which is something that I was looking in this opportunity. So what I learned exactly, you have to have the locker room on your side. You have to have, and I'm not saying that I didn't, but you have to have the guys in your locker room. You have to have your voice in the locker room. You have to have the guys that truly believe in what you're doing and understand what you're doing. And obviously, I learned that I have to improve my communication skills, and with all that said, I think in the next season, me and my staff, we are actually better coaches, but we have to prove that, and we have to do a lot of job to manage our locker room, and it's not only about the training on the field, it's even more off the field, which is something that I always do. I have a huge experience playing in the leagues and working with a lot of great coaches abroad, and I knew that. But here, I think it's even more important. It's more important to have communications with the player, to make them jump on your board, to be on the same page, and then from there you can build whatever you want.
Coach, use the word important. How important is it that your club gets off to a good start to regain the confidence of your wonderful supporters, to gain the confidence of yourself and your coaching staff and GM Nelson Rodriguez to start this new journey of the Chicago Fire from the moves you've made this offseason?
Well, it's very important. What I'm going to tell you is everything what we are doing for our fans. We want to build a team, like we said, that is going to be a championship team. The day we came and we took over our jobs here in Chicago, everything we are doing right now, and sometimes I know it's difficult to understand, but I think with this move, it at least a little bit, it becomes a little bit more easier to understand what we are doing for them. And there are a lot of difficult decisions that we had to make, and still a lot of difficult decisions that we will have to do. But I'm telling you that we truly believe and we truly know what we are doing. We believe in our plan, and I want to give a huge credit to Nelson Rodriguez, who is handling all these situations with amazing personality, integrity, and capability. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to be a last and on the standings and then make all these moves that we did, that we had to do in order to open spots so we can improve our roster. And then I will say again, going back to our fans, we are grateful to all of them for the patience that they have during all these seasons. And I know it was a lot of suffer, and we can see that they are eager and they are starting to be impatient to have the team that they can really joy on the field, that they can really give all their love and support like they were doing so far, but they can also get something in return.
Coach, we have 1 minute left, Coach. Sorry to cut you off there, but I want to get this last question into you before we let you go. And this is away from the club. I want you to give us an understanding in your first year in MLS. I talk with a lot of Italian coaches, Italian players that have come over here to MLS, Serbian, Croatian. I'm in quite a bit of contact with them on a daily basis. And finally, since I've been covering this league for 20 years, they're finally starting to show a little bit of respect. Unfortunately, you still get guys like Mihajlovic, the coach in Italy who coached with a couple clubs there, comes out and says that players that go to MLS basically are going there to retire, are washed up, and won't be identified for national team use at all. I disagree. I think that's a disgrace, what he said. Also, what Ventura did to Jovinko, not calling him up. I'd like to get your thoughts. You've spent a lot of time in Europe. You now know what MLS is all about. Do you believe that this league is on the rise? And do you believe that this league is a league that will be getting closer and closer to maybe top 5, top 6 in the world?
I absolutely believe in that. I don't agree with what they said, and I'm going to say I respect their opinion, but I don't agree. I think I proved by being here that I believe in this league, that I believe that this league is going to be. I'm not saying that maybe. It's going to be one of the best leagues in the world in the next 5 to 10 years. And right now what we have is the league in a huge expansion, and not only expansion in terms of the fans and the audience and attendance, which is there. Obviously, that's something that we can see and that we can measure. But the huge expansion in talent, in coaches that they make this league of choice, of their choice, and players who make this league the league of their choice, to play, to perform, to make this league better, to give everything they have, because it is really becoming that. I think this is going. It is, in my case, it is, and it's going to be more and more the league of choice for every coach and player in the future around the world.
Coach, thank you so much for making time out of your busy schedule. Good luck this season. Really great to see a young, hungry coach like you in MLS. And again, it is so important to get Chicago back on the map into the playoffs for MLS, because it is an important, very important city. Good luck to you, Nelson Rodriguez, and the whole squad at Chicago. And again, thanks for making time, my friend.
Thank you very much. And I'm very happy that actually you had a great timing, so you can basically after a couple of minutes we announced the trade for Dax. You can have me in your show. I really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And